It all began with what was intended to be a typical studio session for Love and Hip Hop Atlanta's long-awaited cast album. But what happened behind those closed doors has the whole reality TV the globe is in utter meltdown mode. Speculations are flying across social media timelines, and now fans can't stop asking the same question. Did Erica Banks' eyewitnesses allege it wasn't just a slap? It was a full-blown eruption that left Rasheeda in tears, the cast in turmoil, and what started as artistic disputes between Kirk and Erica suddenly escalated into a furious, profoundly personal argument that no one witnessed, leaving the whole production crew scurrying to turn off the cameras. Approaching till Erica snapped, and the sound of that slap rang louder than any verse ever recorded in that studio. And the worst thing, Rasheeda captured in the midway totally broke down. Reports claimed she walked out weeping hysterically, saying that this just wrecked everything. Now that the record is supposedly on hold, cast loyalties changing, fans are left wondering whether this is the end of the Frost legacy or the beginning of the greatest scandal in love and hip-hop history. It was a cool Atlanta morning when Erica Banks drew up to the studio. The fog clung to her matte black sub like a shroud. Kirk Frost's muscle vehicle idled nearby, its engine rumbling gently as he stood alongside it. Arms crossed and teeth clenched inside, producers huddled nervously around, craft services murmuring about the tight timetable and the potential of a blown budget. Carly Red stood off to the side, brushing her hair, scrolling through her phone, eyes leaping to every new tweet that references Slapgate. Agitated, tapping his foot anxiously, headphones drooping over his neck as he listened to repeat mixes. Bambi lurked at the back, pasting on laughter that didn't reach her eyes, trying to pretend everything was normal. Rasheeda entered the room last, her hand softly resting on Kirk's arm and providing it. Kirk went to the mixing desk, fingers hammering on the fader. His stare was riveted on Erica as she entered the booth, mic in hand and big sunglasses hiding her eyes. Everyone felt the tension build. Rasheeda lifted a palm and sighed, attempting to settle the crowd. "We've got this," whispered more to herself than anyone else. The rhythm dropped, a powerful bass line and piercing snares reverberating through the speakers. Rasheeda took the lead vocal, confidently infusing the room with warmth. Carly came in with a fierce verse, her words slashing through the air wildly, followed by a snappy ad-lib. Just then, Erica walked forward, sitting into the booth and shutting her eyes. She started her stanza, every line dripping with swagger and passion, presenting a clear image of her ascension and perseverance. Her confidence was irresistible. Kirk pressed the mute button, and the music stopped. Erica paused, her headphones hanging around her neck, her face inscrutable beneath her sunglasses. She touched the glass and said into the talkback speaker, "What's wrong?" her voice calm but stern. Kirk leaned back, arms crossed. That was too slick. He muttered, "I need grit." Realness that seemed scripted. His words fell like a punch. Erica's lips pushed together. She waited for him to click play again, but he didn't. Grinned, "Try again." Less polish, more passion. Her eyes blazed with defiance. She slipped off her sunglasses and laid them on the console. "You want passion?" she questioned, her voice low. "I brought passion." Took a deep breath and continued the tune, putting true passion into every lyric. Her trials and victories, her journey from undiscovered musician to chart contender. The words reverberated with every beat. Kirk's stern visage softened for a time. Erica ended, chest heaving, and waited in quiet. Kirk tapped a button that prompted the audio to fade away. "Not there yet," he remarked crisply. Rasheeda's shoulders dropped as she approached the glass and spoke softly. "It was wonderful to let it breathe." Kirk shook his head. "Done. This is my vision." The frost in his tone rippled across the room. Erica walked forward, yanking off her headphones, and placed them on the mic stand with intentional force, facing Kirk across. Kirk looked to her with narrowed eyes and said, "I built this dream for you. Don't forget." That possessive tone in his voice cut deep. She came closer, built it more like controlled it. "I'm not a treasure to be shown or handled." Her words reverberated through the studio. Carly Red drew forward, anxiety pinching her forehead. She looked at the producer, whose face grew pale. Rasheeda's fingers flew to her mouth as she watched the argument unfold. Kirk stood from his as stool closed the gap between them. His voice dropped. You think you're better than me? Better than this show? Erica straightened her shoulders and raised her head. No, I believe I deserve respect and to be heard. She nodded to the mic, and not muted by your ego. The crowd caught its breath. Kirk put out fingers, touching her shoulder, maybe to stabilize. Erica's eyes widened, and she didn't hesitate. Her palm darted out, connecting with Kirk's cheek in a tremendous slap, the sound cracking through the room like a gunshot. Kirk Carly lurched back, his palm shooting to his face, his astonished silence giving way to a bellow of cursing. Producers and security raced forward, creating a barrier. Red gasped, covering her lips, and murmured, "Damn," under his breath. Bambi slumped to the floor, looking in shock. Erica's chest heaved, adrenaline and defiance surging through her veins. Rasheeda lurched forward, tears collecting in her eyes as she saw Kirk clutch his. "Oh my gosh," she gasped, her voice shaking. "He's bleeding." Kirk waved her off, brow furrowed. "I'll survive," he growled, but his voice quivered. She took his hand, looked between him, and Erica's eyes were filled with agony. Why did she breathe? Erica held her ground. Because he crossed the line, she quietly said, "And I had to defend myself." Behind the glass, the producers immediately silenced the microphones and turned off the lights in the studio. The rhythm that had promised togetherness vanished, leaving only the sound of discord. Outside the booth, Kirk's damaged face shone crimson under the strong lights. He wrapped the towel over it, rage and anguish warring in his eyes. Rasheeda sat. Kirk put his hand on her back, but instead of comforting her, she rocked softly with her head in her hands, tears forming lines down her face. Erica walked under the studio's fluorescent lights, her mascara slightly stained from exertion, and held her phone to her ear. "Yeah, drop that snippet now," she said, voice steady. People were already guessing the term Kirk Frost slapped by Erica Banks trended before the dust had cleared, and she hung up. Face Carly red, who handed her a bottle of water. Erica grabbed it, fingers tight around the chilly plastic. "They need to know the truth," she said in the lounge. Rasheeda's cries reverberated off of the walls. Kirk knelt beside her, voice low. "We'll repair this," he assured. She glanced up, tears obscuring her eyes, mended how she asked by pretending it didn't happen. Kirk's jaw tightened, his once certain control now slipping through his fingers. Bambi slid in, holding 2 styrofoam cups of coffee. She paused before placing one in Rasheeda's shaky palm. "Are you okay?" she questioned gently. Rasha shook her head, her voice muffled. "No," she mumbled. Bambi patted her arm. Across the room, producers chatted in hushed tones, formulating comments and arranging damage management beyond those walls. #Team Erica swamped timelines, proclaiming support with Erica's fight against disrespect. #Kirk rallied, accusing Erica of unprofessionalism and violence. Media pushed for exclusive interviews. Talk show anchors dubbed the slap the moment that transformed, letting Atlanta permanently back in. Erica leaned against a wall, arms crossed, and caught Rasheeda's gaze through the open door of the lounge. "I'm sorry you had to see that," she whispered gently. Rasheeda's eyes flashed up. She gulped hard as she felt contradictory emotions. Betray, compassion, heartbreak. "It's not you," she said, "but us." Kirk rose, face set. "Let's go back to work." He muttered, voice harsh. Silence replied him, and thus the record project lay in ruins, split apart by a slap that resonated far beyond the studio alliances had altered loyalties challenge. As the promise of togetherness broken, the following chapter would tell who could survive the damage and if love, hip-hop, and Atlanta would ever be the same again. The aftermath was electric. Cameras continued rolling even as producers desperately fought to restore control. The rhythm that had promised unification now lay mute, replaced by the buzz of worry. Erica Banks stood just outside the booth, chest heaving, her gloves falling loosely from her fingers like trophies of resistance. She saw Kirk Frost wipe the smear from his. Rasheeda waited close, shoulders quivering, torn between worry for her husband and respect for the lady who had defended herself. Carly Red broke the silence. "We can't just end it like this," she murmured, voice shaking. Looking at the producer who nodded tentatively, let's try to talk it out. Clear the air. Kirk glanced at Erica. His mouth clenched for a while, as time seemed to both froze, realizing that this moment would define them all. Finally, Kirk sighed quietly. Fine, but this isn't over. In the green room, Rasheeda slumped into a velvet sofa, tears streaming freely. Bambi sat alongside her, wrapping her arm across her trembling shoulders. Are you okay? She muttered. Rasheeda shook her. I really wanted us to be a family on this record. She looked up at Kirk. He stopped a few feet away, studying at his image in the mirror and changing his shirt. And now look at us. Outside, a quiet swarm of photographers and fans had gathered in the studio. Phone cameras flashed as bits of the encounter soared. Online tweets poured in. Within minutes after the slap from a shattered studio window, #Spark, #Slapgate, #Latto, #Team Rhea, #Team Perk. Talk show segments touted exclusive video and unseen information. The debate had gone beyond the studio walls into worldwide gossip. Erica didn't wait for an invitation. She strode out the exit, mixed still in hand. Carly followed, laying a soft touch on her back. Do you want to make a statement? She questioned. Erica shook her head. We'll speak regardless of what I say. She halted, staring down the corridor at Rasheeda's anxious figure. I need to speak to her alone. Returning in the studio, Kirk turned to the producer. This project was my vision. Now it's a catastrophe. The producer gulped, voice tight. Perhaps we can frame it as a time of passion, genuine drama, real stakes. Kirk's gaze glanced toward the closed lounge door. We'll meet Erica in the lounge. Rasheeda came cautiously, the room smelling of old coffee and lipstick. Rasheeda glanced up with red-rimmed eyes. Why did you do it? She whispered to Erica, perched on the arm of the couch. Because he mistreated me right in front of you, in front of everyone. I couldn't let it go. So why should I? Rasheeda's lips quiver. He's my husband. I love him, but I can't pretend he was right. She put a palm over Erica's gripping arm. I'm pleased you stood up for yourself. The tension between them shifted, lessened by honesty for a time. Rasheeda felt the delicate respect grew for Erica's fortitude. But then reality slammed back in. Studio executives would demand allegiances. Fans would select sides. And Kirk's hatred would. Kirk spotted chaotic in a recording booth down the hall, repeating crowd sounds and studio conversation over headphones. Kirk rested against the doorframe, arms crossed. Do you think she had to do that? He asked excitedly, paused, and shrugged. I understand he crossed the line, but didn't have to go aggressive. Kirk gazed at him. You are closer to my side. Chaotic shook his head. I'm on the side of respect. If she smacked him, it was because she felt besieged. Kirk's eyes tightened. People will perceive it as unprofessional. Stunned, Chaotic withdrew his headphones, but they'll also see her strong drama cells in the control room. The producer clicked over camera angles. Video of Rasheeda's breakdown, clips of Erica's triumphal posture, slow motion replay of the slap, it all shown on the displays. He touched his headset. Prepare. Crisis Plan framed this as an uplifting moment for women standing up to disrespect. Contact Erica's representatives for a sit-down interview. The assistant jotted notes. Outside the building, a live stream presenter wrote furiously on a notebook. This is only the beginning, she whispered, eyes racing between her iPad and the studio doors. Fans pushed phones to the glass, trying to get a peek of cast responses. Security. Erica tweeted, no one deserves disrespecting unity via music implies respecting everything that comes after. The tweet gathered tens of thousands of likes within minutes. Comments came in, some applauding her courage, others denouncing violence. She disregarded the criticism and focused on the camaraderie back inside. Rasheeda prepared to re-enter the studio, adjusted her clothes, and took a deep. Kirk approached her with a hesitant hand while she took a breath and straightened her stance. On her back, I'm sorry, he whispered gently. She sighed and met his eyes. Apology not enough. You must also comprehend why she did. Saw the tension mingle with hesitant teamwork. In that shared moment, something moved, if only slightly, from confrontation. Approaching possibilities, the album's concept shifted from unity via music to unity through respect throughout the session. While the actors gathered for a group photo, Rasheeda joined arms with Erica and Kirk. Photographers captured this shot of three cast members with somber yet concentrated expressions. Members united by conflict and teamwork would become the defining motive for the following promotion later. That Erica's eyes welled up with emotions as she watched the video for the new song's hook and muttered, "We did it." Rasheeda, Kirk joined her on the sofa. Their heads dropped for a short time. Family, imperfect and weak, yet bonded by music and a harsh lesson learned. Outside the glow, fans disputed their allegiance and tabloids teased. Exclusives, but within that modest studio, a new tale took root. Conflict led to dialogue, where smack became a chance for respect, and as the moon rose above Atlanta's actors learned something profound. Sometimes the greatest hits come from the most difficult periods. The music released at midnight, and the studio phones lighted up like a Christmas tree dish phoned in. Request blogs provided initial thoughts, and fans flocked to streaming platform Unity. Means respect topped the charts quicker than everyone thought. Erica watched the live viewer count move up from her sofa, her heart rising with each news broadcast. Rasheeda sat alongside. Kirk holds a cup of lukewarm tea, tears of relief shining in her eyes. Stood at the doorway, arms clasped in pride and humility as the three shared a calm moment of victory, although the joy was short by morning. Tabloids had turned the tale into a new issue. Headlines shouted that the trio's reunion was public relations gimmick, accusing them of leveraging their money for ratings. Talk show hosts discussed if the smack been genuine or contrived, doubting Erica's intentions and Kirk's sincerity. As the media swirled with conspiracy ideas, Erica scanned through a barrage of comments, some of which praised her fortitude, others accusing her of selling out. She closed her eyes and exhaled. "We did what needs to be done," she mumbled, but uncertainty crept in. Rasheeda awoke to a text from her. "Manager, a worldwide reaction is growing, and we need your statement as soon as possible." Buzzed with hundreds of missed calls, producers, network executives, even relatives. Members seeking answers, she was caught between loyalty to Kirk and unity. Erica, with worry curled in her stomach like a knot, messaged back, "We need time." Then she secured her phone and stood at the window, watching Atlanta's skyline sparkle in the early light. Underneath the beautiful unrest churned Carly. Red and chaotic met in a nearby hole. Carly sipped tea with a strained brow as she analyzed our engagement data. "Numbers are off the charts," she said, "but emotion is divided 50-50s. We need to tip." The scales tumultuous drummed his fingers nodding, and we pressed the empowering angle. Conversations with Erica about standing up for herself, Rasheeda as the voice of compassion, and Kirk admitting his faults. Carly tapped a notebook angle, healing via honesty, content, unfiltered interviews. Behind the scenes video, she looked at chaos. "We're guiding this back on." Back on set, the actors reassembled for a brief press shot. Cameras snapped as they presented Erica as a tough and unyielding Rasheeda Regal, despite her grief. Kirk calm with a trace of sadness in his eyes. The photographer yelled out, "Give people, I have true emotions." In that moment, something substantial passed. Between them, an unsaved pact to withstand the storm together. The flash froze. Rasheeda captured a moment in time that would become the season's defining picture. Erica was alone in the green room, and a harsh fluorescent lamp glared above. Rasha closed the door and sat across from Erica, lighting up her tired eyes. "I'm sorry I hesitated," she started. Erica's face softened. "I know it. It was hard." Rasheeda reached out, pushing a stray strand of hair away from Erica's face. "You did what you needed to do." Erica smiled faintly, "And you were present." Rasheeda breathed, "We're in this together." Meanwhile, Kirk cornered the producer at the console. His voice was low, frantic. "We need damage control on mine." The producer scratched his temples after I finished an interview in which I'd apologized without making any explanations. "We'll organize it, but realize that if you come out too defensive, it'll backfire." Kirk nodded, teeth stiff. "I'll be sincere." Hours later, he sat before a camera team, breathing heavily under the red recording light. Blinked on, he looked into the lens and talked, and I let my ego get in the way. Wrong, Erica deserved respect, and Rasheeda deserved more than this. Drama. I huffed it, swallowing, and hoped to recover the trust of everyone I had wounded. Erica entered another studio, this time for a midday chat program. Appearance. The presenter welcomed her with a warm grin. Erica followers are calling you a Erica giggled as anxiety flickered in her. I'm simply a lady who stood up for herself in the face of rudeness. The crowd cheered as the presenter leaned closer. Do you regret the smack, Erica's? I'm sorry it had to come to that, but sometimes respect is non-negotiable. Camera swooped in on her face, recording every feature of that interview, traveled across social networks, stirring discussion in the. Erica glanced at her mirror in the seclusion of her dressing room. The bright lights made her feel vulnerable, so she pushed her finger on her cheek where the slack had fallen. The pain still remained. She closed her eyes and said, I did, that's all for me. Her phone rang with a message from a buddy. You're courageous. Don't let them tear you down. She tapped a thankful reply backstage at a promotional event Rasheeda planned for. Speaking at a panel discussing empowerment, journalists set up microphones in front of her as she took a seat. Cleared her throat today. We demonstrated that music can unify, but only when built upon as mutual admiration. Flashed. A reporter questioned, how has this drama marriage? Rasheeda gazed down, collecting power. It taxed us, but if learn and evolve, so can our fans. Love involves sticking by one other even when it hurts outside the theater. Clustered around posters depicting Erica and Rasheeda discussing heatedly, some held signs saying respect is power. Others shouted, Slackgate survivor. Kirk come to thank the panelists, hugging Rasheeda momentarily. The camera's odd Kirks. Erica watched from the side, nodding approvingly as her arm was wrapped over Rasheeda's shoulder in a public display of solidarity. When the three reunited in the studio for a late-night session, the quiet was heavy. Thoughtful. Erica poured a glass of water. Rasheeda leaned back, fingers. While Kirk was reviewing track notes, the producer arrived and nodded. Got the next song set up, a duet between Rasheeda and Erica called Stronger Together. Excitement flashed. After all of this, Erica arched an eyebrow and said, do it. Kirk smiled slightly. Time to show it. They approached the booth with stress dissolving into focus. Rasheeda's sweet voice combined with Erica's raw force, forming a harmony that spoke of reconciliation. Kirk adjusted levels, focused attentively on the lyrics they sang, which described their path of betrayal, strife, and forgiveness. As the last note faded, a quiet descended, and Kirk gently stated that Rasha and Erica exchanged looks. Mutual recognition passed between them weeks later. When the symbol ascended the three pondered on their experience. Erica sat on the studio's rooftop patio, Atlanta cityscape. Stretching behind her, Rasheeda joined, bringing her a cup of tea. Kirk followed. Wrapping an arm around Rasheeda's waist, they observed the city lights. Shimmer. Erica sipped. We turned mess into message, she stated. Rasheeda nodded. And music into meaning. Kirk pushed them closer, and now we're stronger. As they rejoiced, Kirk's phone received a fresh notification, an anonymous tip. His brow wrinkled as he hinted to a hidden contract condition that threatened to rip the record deal out from under them. Observe. What is it? She said, and he hesitated over ownership. Someone is attempting to profit from our situation. Rasheeda's eyes widened. We can't allow that happen. They stood in tense quiet. Realizing their struggle wasn't ended, additional challenges awaited beyond the studio doors. As the night deepened, Erica, Rasheeda, and Kirk prepared to confront the next task was to demonstrate that respect and togetherness could resist not just emotional storms, but also cold calculations of the music business, the album's destiny, and their legacies hung in the balance. The following morning, Kirk Frost came at the studio early, his face furrowed with apprehension, carrying a thick manila. Erica Banks, nursing her first cup of coffee, saw his approach from the envelope with the network's emblem. What is that? She said, looking out the corner of her eye. She inquired, gesturing at Kirk's envelope. He paused, then laid it on a neighboring table. Just got this from upstairs. Rasheeda, who was already in the room, joined them and wiped sleep from her eyes. The three of them formed a tight circle around the envelope as if it were a ticking time bomb. Carly red and frantic. Carly remained at the door, feeling the seriousness of the occasion, and looked at her phone. Kirk's jaw tensed as the screen lit up with incoming warnings. "You're trending again," she informed. "This is about contract concerns." He ripped aside the brass clasp and retrieved the stack of paperwork. The paper cracked in. Rasheeda reached out to steady Kirk's hand. "Read it to us," she murmured. Kirk nodded, unfolded the top page, and studied the first paragraph, which states that due to the public outburst and following media frenzy, the network maintains the right to reconsider that the album's release timetable, will renegotiate financial conditions, and maybe cancel performance incentives are connected to the project. He read. Erica's eyes widened. "So they're using our drama against us," she shouted. Kirk gulped hard. "Basically blackmail, play nice, or lose everything." Rasheeda pinched her lips. "We can't let it happen," her thoughts racing as she takes a frantic stride forward. "Lo, we need to fight back. Public support may push the network." Carly nodded. "Launch a campaign where friends and admirers contribute tales of women standing up for togetherness." Themes. Erica let out a quick chuckle that worked for the single. "But this is corporate, they play harder." Rasheeda's eyes filled with determination. "Then we show them that respect and integrity can drive sales, that we're not simply drama fodder." Kirk glanced at her with hope. "Well, you'd think it would matter to them." They spread the papers on the table like battlefield maps, contracts, agreements. Signatures crowded every page. The tiny print disclosed the condition that if any cast-related controversy damaged the program, the network might recuperate production expenses from the artist's salary, which include. Kirk muttered softly. Erica banged her fist on the table. "We need legal assistance. Find a lawyer who specializes in entertainment law." Rasheeda nodded. "Call my." Kirk took up the phone and contacted his cousin's company, which had handled my last transaction. While Kirk was arranging the legal team, Erica and Rasheeda resorted to social media. I made a spontaneous live video in front of the studio's neon sign. "Hey everyone, it's Erica." She began. We are under fear of having our record agreement ripped up by the network if we cannot promise no more controversy. But we think stand with us in respect and as women who believe in the power of music." Within minutes, comments poured in #respect and hip-hop trending tales of fans. Overcoming adversity. Rasheeda shared a written remark on love tested by hardship and togetherness created in struggle. The network's public relations machine was caught off surprise. While inside the studio, Kirk met with the entertainment lawyer, a sharp-suited lady called Janet Hale, and paged over the contract. Her face impartial. Clause 6A is wide but not ironclad. As she noted, it depends on substantial financial damage to the network if you can establish the album's success or viewership increased. Owing to. Kirk breathed. "Thus, we need ratings data to dispute their assertions." Sales predictions. Jane nodded. "I'll submit an official notification opposing their intent, but you must move quickly." Later that afternoon, the cast convened to. Erica paced with her phone in hand as Carly examined streaming statistics on a laptop were chaotically browsed via viewer engagement analytics eyeballs. As Rasheeda sat between Kirk and Erica, energy calm but concentrated, "We went live." Tomorrow, as a cast, she planned a roundtable discussion on the smack, the aftermath, and our commitment to unity and respect. Erica halted. "I like it, but we need honesty, no plan lines. Let's be raw." They developed a rough agenda. Opening comments from Erica's standpoint, Kirk's apologies and responsibility, Rasheeda's introspection, and a final call. Encouraging fans to support the record release. The network would definitely attempt to spin it as optics, but they plan to own their narrative. Jane Hale given legal guidance to prevent defamation and concentrate on personal. The cast nodded with conviction. Sparking that evening, Kirk, sitting with Rasheeda in their kitchen at home, the fragrance of her mother's cooking filled the air, providing a soothing contrast to during the day's pandemonium. Kirk grabbed for Rasheeda's hand. "I'm sorry I dragged you into this," he murmured gently. Rasheeda gripped his hand. "I know you love me. I know you regret it, but let's get through this together." Kirk nodded. eyes streaming, and they embraced each other, ready to confront the storm. Erica practiced her opening statements in front of a mirror. She removed layers of costume, the colorful jacket, and the high shoes, and stood in simple jeans and a white tee. Her mirror glared back ferocious and vulnerable. She muttered, "I'm stronger," rather than dread. The true strength she found was admitting imperfection under pressure. The following morning, the studio's ramp was put up cameras, lighting sets, microphones, and positioned. The network executives lingered around, unsure whether to undermine or accept it. The actors poured in. Erica, Rasheeda, and Kirk took their seats at a solitary red light blinking on the semicircular tabletop signaled the live broadcast. Erica cleared her throat. "Hello, this is Love and Hip Hop Atlanta." She started, voice steady. "And yes, this is a live chat about respect, unity, and the force of our voices." Rasheeda leaned forward. "And we've, despite strife that challenged our connections," she persisted, "and we believe in